So I have a question for you. Do you experience what I call book whiplash, where you finish one and it's so engrossing and the style is so distinguished? The author has their own way of putting scenes together, and you finish it, and then right on the heels of one book, you start another and you experience what I call whiplash.
Remember, we are a communion of light, a collective of 12 all-beings that formulate.
Talking about like that, like if we had some wood out in the yard, instead of saying carry it in the house, you'd say tote it in the house. And
Does this happen to you too? Because it happens to me all the time. It doesn't mean one is better than the other, but just you get a real strong sense of the author's style when you go from one to the other in the same sitting. Hi, I'm Jordan, and if you're new to this channel, welcome. I'm an aesthetic brand designer, and on this channel, I like to take you behind the scenes of really fun client projects, kind of show you my day-to-day as a work-from-home designer, as well as show you some tips and tricks of how I make my process more smooth. My last video, I had quite a few things on my to-do list, and sadly, I only got to one or two of them. So this is actually filmed the very next day, so we're just going to pick up right where we left off. Got my handy dandy to-do list here, and today I thought I would bring you along. I've got a couple of fun projects to do. So I am going to work on product photography for my family business, Cat Creek Farm, and then I have two plants out on my porch that with the weather changing, I'm going to have to bring them in, and they desperately need to be repotted. So I'm going to give them some fresh soil, new pots, bring them indoors, and see if I can't help them along. And then I also have a gigantic squash. I don't know if you saw it in my last video, but I'm going to turn that into some squash soup. All right, we're going to hustle through today. So I have plenty of time to my new book, Masters of Death. So far, the introduction, it's written in Death's point of view, and Death is very snarky in this, so already I give it 5 stars alone just for that. So I'll let you know as I get further on. Okay, let's do this. Let's get some stuff done. Okay, 80s action montage, done. Not bad for a Wednesday, huh? Yeah, are y'all channeled? Okay, gang, we're gonna tackle the plants first. So I'm gonna make a quick trip over to Walmart and get some soil, look at planters, trays. Since I'll be bringing them in, I would hate to overwater them and have water go all over my apartment. So I'm also going to look for some dowels and some moss sheeting I've seen it at Hobby Lobby. I'm hoping that Walmart will have something similar. But anyways, I'll be back in a jiffy and we'll resume our repotting project. I'll be back, baby. I'll be back. You watch the apartment, okay, Amelie? All right, I'll see you in a bit.
1 hour later.
Okay, I'm back and I procured the goodies. So we're going to get started on repotting. So full disclaimer, my track record for maintaining houseplants is not the greatest. Both of these plants were original propagations from a friend of mine. And when I moved into this apartment, I don't really get direct sunlight. So I left them with my parents and they've been lovingly called the grand plants. But my mom's taking care of them to such a degree that they are overflowing to the point that she just doesn't want to deal with them anymore. So I have custody of them once again. I'm going to bring them inside and see if I can't use my large kind of bay window to get them set up for the fall. Yeah, fingers crossed that I don't kill them. Please, please don't let me kill them. Look at me. Look at me. You're going to take care of these plants and you're going to love them. You're going to love them every bit as much as you do Amelie. Okay? We got this. It's time. It's time to grow up. You can handle some houseplants. We've gotten by with the plastics. They've been fun, but it's time for the real deal. You're ready. Okay. All right. On 3. 1, 2, 3. Let's do this. Okay, gang, here's what we're working with. I've got one very straggly monstera that is just not so happy on my patio. And then over here I have my Chinese money plant, which same thing, it's trying to escape its pot. So much so that it has started some new sprouts down at the bottom. So I gotta help this one too. Gotta break it free. So I picked up some potting mix, a couple of wooden dowels. I did find the moss sheeting and I got some twine string to tie the plants to the dowels. So now I'm just going to focus on assembling everything before I pull the plants out of their existing pots, but this should be fun. Here is the planter I picked up from Walmart for the monstera. I grabbed this one from my grandma in Colorado, but it's just a little bit too big to put the monstera in just yet. So I'll have this one waiting for when it grows out of this planter that I bought. But oh my gosh, yeah, it's gonna enjoy some more room. Isn't that pretty? Here are the dowels that I'm going to tie together for extra stability using some twine. I start off by tying one end, and then I kind of weave the string in between all 3 dowels before I start wrapping around. And I will do this on both sides. And then this moss sheeting, I guess, can be used for a variety of things, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap this tied dowel in the moss because a monstera likes to climb. It's actually a tree climber, so I want to make sure that I give it something to hold on to. And I just use the twine and just tie it on the outside. And it looks like this. Ta-da! I'm going to add some river stones to the bottom of the planter. This just helps with separating stagnant water from the roots so the roots won't decay. And then I anchor my dowel, which this is going to be tricky. I'll use some potting soil to help anchor it. Okay, and here comes this part, which is very nerve-wracking. You're going to see how stuffed this poor plant is. The roots were so tightly compacted that I had to literally just go in and claw them away from the planter. And look at this. Poor thing. Oh my gosh. Don't worry, baby. We're gonna rehome you. Here's a time lapse of me fussing with it, making sure that I tie it in just the right way so that it will feel super supported. You see all of those brown kind of like vines coming off of it? That's what it uses to grip onto trees out in the wild. So I'm just going to leave them as is. I'm sure there's a trick on how to properly groom your monstera to make it more bush-like, but I am just going to embrace its jungle nature and just let it do its thing. Okay, now for the money plant. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to create a dowel rod and reinforce it with the twine. And we're going to move this money plant into the planter that the monstera was in and kind of replicate the same process. This one really doesn't have vines, so I really don't need to wrap the dowel in that moss sheeting. So I am just going to secure the dowels themselves and just give the roots more room to grow out. This happens to be one of my grandma's favorite houseplants. I'm going to put them in this corner. This window gets the most sunlight out of my entire apartment. So I'm just going to do some quick housekeeping. Sweep up Amelie's dust bunnies, and we're going to put this ginormous monstera up on the TV stand. And wow, look how dramatic it looks. It's turned my apartment into a jungle. And then for the money plant, I got this really cute wicker stand from Walmart. And look at this, the money plant had babies. I gave everybody a nice drink of water and some soothing words because being repotted can be traumatic for a plant, and I want them to feel comfortable. I felt inspired to light a few candles, and voila! Welcome to my happy little plant corner. I totally see the appeal now for indoor plants. It just totally elevates the space. Not to mention the feng shui is perfect. Got all my kids in one corner. Okay, so repot houseplants is done. So next on the agenda is product photography for Cat Creek Farm. I've been holding on to a tote of goodies in here for a little while. So let's get started. Smells good. In addition to the Flossy Finch, I also work as the marketer for my family business, Cat Creek Farm. Our family business offers handmade soap, tinctures, tea blends, smudge kits, as well as some really lovely lavender products, which you see here. The lavender we use in our products comes from a family field in Terrebonne, Oregon, which is absolutely picturesque and home to a whole field of Grosso lavender. Once the lavender is harvested, we make them into these eye pillows and neck wraps, which are a blend of Grosso lavender and flaxseed. What I'm working on today is sewing on the cotton labels to the finished product before I take some product photography. We do hand make all of our products by hand. My mother sews the neck wraps and eye pillows, and then we tag team sewing on the labels, and usually I take over the product photography and marketing on our Etsy store. If this is something that you're interested in, I'll be sure to leave a link to our website down in the description below. Emily's upset. I wouldn't let her play with the string. He's sulking. Okay, so I've run into a little bit of a snafu. I only grabbed enough cotton labels for 2 sets. So I don't have the Christmas edition neck wrap and eye pillow tagged, but I'm going to go ahead and photograph them and see if the powers of Photoshop can help me. Otherwise, I can always run out to the studio and grab a few more later this week. But for now, we're going to go ahead and press on and get some pictures. Setup, which includes 2 softbox lights, my open bay window, and a couple of odds and ends that I've pulled out of my closets, which are perfect for staging. This rust orange is a favorite color of mine, so I have a lot of really wonderful things to pair with it. Like some crystals, and this beautiful candle I've been lighting all week. And less is more in my experience with product photography. So we're making progress, and now's part of the day where it's not so work related, but it's just as important to the workflow as everything else. So you guys probably spotted this in my last video, but I bought this behemoth of a butternut squash at the grocery store last week with designs to make squash soup with pepitas. And yeah, this cost me like $10. So PSA, if you're going to buy squash this year, just be prepared because it's expensive. We're going to get our use out of it, and I'm probably going to have to break out the hammer to cut this thing open. It is huge, but it should be delicious. Okay, we'll use this guy, the rubber mallet. That might be easiest. Okay, watch your ears. Move Pierre. I don't want him to get hurt. Beautiful. starting to sizzle. It smells good. So here is my bounty from that one squash. I have enough here that, I don't know, I'm debating on whether I want to freeze half of it and save it for other recipes, or just go gangbusters and eat this for the next couple of days. It's rich in keratin, and I think with the addition of ginger and garlic and onion, it's going to be a wonderful pre-season elixir just to keep my immune system top notch. So I think I'm going to cook it all. Okay, I have my soup. Now it's time to do the final taste testing. Yeah, that's really good. Wow, that was a really sweet squash. It's like buttery. Ooh, with the ginger. Yeah, that's really good. I could live off of this for a couple of days. Now, it's only fair that since I shared the recipe, if any of you are going to try to make this soup, full disclaimer, it is very dangerous. And I'm going to show you why right here. Yeah, it quickly got out of hand. I do have burns on my hands. I've got a shiner here. I've got a huge one right here, right on the delicate skin of my wrist. That hurt. And then I've got the tiniest, I don't know if you can see it, tiniest dot right here. So yes, don't do what I did. Once your squash has simmered with everything else in the soup pot, take it off the burner, let it chill for a little while, and then blitz it to make it silky smooth. I always run into this issue whenever I'm cooking with root vegetables. I still have a burn scar from when I touched the top of the oven when I was making a sheet of sweet potatoes. So, but anyway, if my mishaps can prevent you from having mishaps, then I'm paying it forward. just be careful. It's gonna hurt for a little while. All right, gang, I'm gonna end this day on a high note by rewarding myself with some quality reading time. So I'm trying to make an effort to reduce the amount of screen time that I have during the day, because I've noticed that the majority of my day is spent on a laptop, and then I've got YouTube playing on my TV, and then I'm on my phone later in the evening. So I'm going to try to break that habit by bringing back some quality reading time in the evenings. I hope you liked this video. It was super fun putting it together. I really gravitate towards content like this myself. There's just something about it that just boosts my serotonin and just really calms me down. So I really hope that this did that for you as well. If you like this type of content, Consider liking and subscribing for more. I've got a couple of really fun videos in the works that I can't wait to publish. But anyways, you guys have a wonderful night, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!